My boyfriend asked me to pay for my birthday dinner. Disclaimer, this is not my story time. It was sent to me on Instagram. My boyfriend and I are nurses. We actually met in nursing school. He's 32, I'm 28. The story goes, we met in class. He was super charming, very good looking. He had the exact body type I liked, muscular but not super big, has tattoos, blue eyes, tan skin, black hair, basically could be Elvis. Every girl in our class had a crush on him, but I was getting chased by a bunch of the boys. He one day caught me staring at him in class. Then he came to talk to me and flirted with me. Right away I told him I thought that he was cute, but that I would never date anybody from our class because I needed to focus. He agreed, but he wanted to become friends. We went out and had so much fun. 3 weeks later, he asked me to be his girlfriend and I said yes. Thankfully, we were both very invested in our studies. We were both paying off our own school. We pretty much had the same schedule. Go to school in the morning and work from home at night. On the weekends, we would dedicate ourselves to studying. We were a well-oiled machine. At this point, he would pay for dinners. If we were going on a date, he'd usually pay for it. But every now and then, I would pick up the tab, or I would take him a coffee, or his favorite croissants. Things started changing when we moved in together. He asked me if we could discuss finances, and I said yes. He asked me how much money I was earning, and I was honest. On average, I was earning about $3,000 more than he was. This is when he suggested that I should be paying more rent because I earn more money. I told him I did not feel comfortable with that, and that 50-50 should be it. We actually got into a fight about it 2 weeks later, so I threatened to move out. That's when he agreed to 50-50. It's the night of my birthday, and I'm sitting at a table full of friends and family. It was a magical night. My parents got to meet my new boyfriend, and we all had fun. Parents offered to pay for me, but my boyfriend said no, that he would. When we got home, he asked me to Venmo him my portion of my meal. What? It was my birthday. We consumed about $400, and then he said that I could definitely afford that. I got really angry and left. The next day, I broke up with him and moved back in with my parents. He's begging me to come back, but I think he resents that I make more money than him. My overreacting.
Am I in the wrong for refusing to pay for the cake slices that my teenage daughter ate? I, female 38, am a single mom with my teenage daughter, Carly, female 17. My sister, 36, lives nearby with her husband and 2 kids, female 9 and male 7. Carly sometimes babysits her cousins on the weekends so that my sister and brother-in-law can go out, usually for 3 to 4 hours. In exchange, my sister gives her 30 to 40 euro cash in hand. Me and my sister do not make Carly babysit. She volunteers to. She likes having the extra money to fund her Starbucks addiction without a part-time job in fast food or retail. Plus, the kids love getting to see her. I'm glad that she's getting to learn the responsibility. I think it's a win all around. Last weekend, there was a problem. A couple hours after Carly came home from babysitting, my sister calls me. It was my niece's birthday 2-ish weeks ago, and there was some leftover birthday cake in their kitchen. It was a custom-made fancy lemon curd cake, and I remember at the party, a lot of kids didn't want to eat it, so a lot was left over. While she was babysitting, Carly had eaten 2 slices. My sister said that she should have asked before helping herself to the cake, and it was expensive. I apologized to my sister and told her that I would have a word with my daughter. She mentions again that the cake was custom made and expensive, and says that we should be compensating her. At first, I honestly thought that she couldn't be serious, but she did want me to give her money because of the cake. I mentioned that surely the cake is going to be bad soon if it isn't already stale. I said this lightheartedly just to try to lighten the mood, but made it clear that I'm not giving her money. She says she paid 70 euros for the cake and she expects me to give her 20. I told her that I'm not doing that. My sister said that I'm being inconsiderate and that my daughter ate the slices without permission. I feel like she's being petty. And what difference would it have made if all of it got eaten last weekend or at the birthday party? Am I in the wrong for refusing to pay her for the cake?
I have been carrying this burden for a very long time now. For over 10 years, I have been telling everyone that I am dating, and more recently, am engaged to a man I have only met once. I have been inventing the story of my life for so long, and I don't know how to go back and fix it. I first connected with this guy, Liam, when we were both in high school. We were in an online study forum and exchanged numbers. We texted back and forth every single day for 2 years straight, but because we lived far apart and were still teenagers, we only ever saw each other in person once. It was an incredibly intense, connected friendship that existed almost purely online. At some point, his messages dried up and he drifted away, but I didn't. I'm still right in that place, excited by his existence, infatuated with him and the idea of what we could be together, as if I'm still a teenager. Back when I was still talking to Liam online, my best friend told me a boy asked her to be his girlfriend and I panicked. I had an extremely strict, limiting childhood, with parents who didn't let me experience anything really. I was barely let out of the house. I knew my boring home life was going to damage my friendships. So out of desperation to fit in, I exaggerated my friendship with Liam and told her he was my boyfriend. From that day on, I've kept up this lie. It's literally a decade later and I've only embellished more and more. On multiple occasions, I've generated new phone numbers for Liam and created fake WhatsApp conversations and Instagram accounts to keep up the pretense that we are together, madly in love, and now planning a wedding. Once I even pretended we were away on a week-long holiday together, but really just stayed in my apartment all alone.
That's the plot of a film.
Yeah, a sad film. It's like I'm a catfish, but the only person I'm catfishing is myself. I am 27 and have found myself in a bigger hole than you can imagine. At times, this lie has become so deep, so intricate, at some points I've genuinely convinced myself that we really are together. I feel like I'm on the cusp of losing my mind. And yes, it's not lost on me that I seriously need to book in with a psychologist ASAP.
Beat me to it, girlfriend.
As the years have gone by, the reasons as to why Liam can't meet the people I love the most have evolved too. I have told stories that largely revolve around drug addiction, that Liam is an addict and is often in treatment or in rehabilitation facilities and therefore isn't in the right state of mind to meet my friends and family. Obviously, given they all now think he's about to become my husband, this is becoming increasingly hard to maintain. What's bizarre is that it turns out my fictional version of events hasn't always been that removed from reality. I created a fake Instagram account recently to talk to Liam and get to know him. And after getting to know him over deep and meaningful DMs, it turns out I was right. Many of the things I invented about him are true. This weird overlap between my imagination and his reality has only confused me more. It's like I really do know Liam without actually knowing him at all. I am so in love with someone who is a stranger and yet isn't really a stranger, if that makes sense. This was a big mistake from me in the end. Liam figured out I wasn't who I was pretending to be on Instagram and called me out on it. I was and am devastated. Now I feel dangerously on the edge of everything falling apart and my friends discovering my big lie too. This has destroyed my life. I haven't been able to establish a single meaningful relationship because, even though I know it makes zero sense, in my mind I am Liam's fiancé. I feel like such a terrible person. How do I get myself out of this without losing the people I love?
Trigger warning on this next one, friends. It does contain talks of child loss. Would I be the asshole for not inviting my sister-in-law to my baby shower after she announced her pregnancy at my daughter's funeral?
Oh.
In 2020, I, female 28, gave birth to my daughter. In 2022, she passed away after a fight with childhood cancer. It was the hardest time of both mine and my husband's entire life. Since then, it's been a struggle every day, and I miss her more than I ever thought I could miss someone. It's like a part of me was lost with her. Shortly after she passed away, we had a memorial service for her. That is where my sister-in-law decided to tell people that she was expecting. She didn't make any big announcements or anything, but more than 10 people at the service heard, and it's what everyone was talking about. To understate it, I was livid. A few months ago, I found out I'm pregnant again. My own sister really wanted to plan me a baby shower. I said okay, and I've been working on who I want to invite. I really don't want sister-in-law there. Besides what she did, she's a vindictive and mean person, and I cannot stand her. I don't want her there. I mentioned it to my husband, and he says he could care less whether she's there or not. But for the sake of saving face, I want opinions before I do this. Would I be the asshole for not inviting her? Also, for context, I would still be inviting my other two sister-in-laws, husband's other sis and husband's brother's wife. She'd be the only one not invited.
Ooh. First of all, not the place and time for that announcement.
Come on.
At all.
Come on.
Like, you don't show up to like a memorial service and say, number one, I'm going to make this about me. Number two, about something really like sensitive in the moment.
Yeah. I think it's a fair boundary to set for a baby shower because like you're already dealing with so many feelings regarding this new child, this pregnancy after losing
That's a huge
baby.
next step. And then you don't want to invite the person that made something about them that was really sensitive.
Exactly. And I could see her finding a way to detract from that moment.
No, I don't think I would invite her at all. And I don't think I'd feel bad either.
No. Mm-mm.
So everyone else can come but you.
Will it create drama? Yeah,
Yeah.
it likely would. But I think you can say at that point in time, you know what? I was having the worst day of my life and you made it worse by sharing your news. I
Right.
think that was extremely inappropriate.
It's your own fault that you're not going to get invited.
Yeah.
I didn't start this drama.
Mm-hmm.
So that was just disrespectful.
Yeah.
I don't like it at all.
No. The top comment on it, not the asshole. And if anyone, she asked why the other sister-in-laws were invited and she wasn't, explain that they didn't announce their pregnancy at your daughter's funeral.
I don't think it should have to be said. Like, why do you think you weren't invited? What could possibly be the reason that I'm not going to this baby shower?
I wonder.